back in 1976, all of the actors were invited to, and plus Gene Roddenberry, were invited to participate in an historic event. I mean, this wasn't just motion picture history. This is history and history, mankind's history. The very first space shuttle was introduced to the public. They have a ceremony that they call the rollout, when the craft is rolled out in front of the public for the first time. The reason why we were invited is, again, thanks to that powerful letter writing talent that Star Trek fans have, because a group of fans in America decided that the very first space shuttle should be named, at that time the official Washington name was the Constitution, but these people felt that there should be something more relevant to today's times, and they started a campaign to name the first space shuttle after the Starship Enterprise. And this time, the letter writing campaign was directed not at Paramount and not at NBC, no other source than the White House in Washington, D.C. The letters started to come, first in little drips and then larger drafts, and before you knew it, it was a tidal wave of letters coming to the White House. And finally, it was so enormous that President Gerald Ford, who was president at that time, said, all right, you win. It is going to be called the Enterprise. And so because of that, we were invited to Edwards Air Force Base in the Mojave Desert of California. And we arrived there very, very early in the morning. Security was very, very stringent. All of us were there with the exception of Bill. Bill did not join us for that, for whatever reason, I don't know. And it was a huge runway with the folding chairs like this laid out for about a mile. It was a huge, vast audience there. And they had a temporary stage built up like this. And all of the officials and politicians who were involved with the space program were on stage. And the keynote address was given by a senator called Barry Goldwater from Arizona, who ran for president back in the 70s. And he was the chairman of the committee that funded the space program. But he didn't know that Star Trek cast and Gene Roddenberry were seated just about there, about 4 or 5 rows back from the front. But no one had told him that the Star Trek family was there. But they had told him that the space shuttle was named after the Enterprise. So when he began his speech, he made some witticism, some joke about, well, this is named after a spaceship, so maybe we should start recruiting for pointy-eared astronauts. Well, again, because he didn't know, he made that flip comment. Leonard Nimoy, always on his toes, seated right there, rose up, smiling, mind you, not a Vulcan straight face, but a smiling one, and he said, well, Senator, I'm here. Barry Goldwater looked, and Barry Goldwater is a famous golden-throated orator. He is never at a loss for words. We were there at another historic moment. We saw Barry Goldwater speechless. He pointed at Leonard, and he said, oh! And finally, when he got his speech, he said, Spock! And then he would come in and give his speech, and he saw that the rest of us were all seated there, so he said some nice things about each one of us, and certainly about Gene Roddenberry. And then there was the Air Force orchestra there at the foot there, and they started to play. and the tune they started to play was the theme from Star Trek. To hear that sound, and as that music was playing, the rollout began. This gleaming ship came rolling out, and on its side it said, Enterprise. Believe me, it was a deeply, deeply moving experience for us. And this too is a gift that you all gave us. So thank you for that as well.